is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible.
Press report that Dr. Goodluck Jonathan has already taken a unique and unprecedented step of declaring that he will only want to be a one-term president.
The tenure of Jonathan Goodluck and Lamar Sambo will end by 29th of May 2015.
In 4 years, the focused government can make significant changes. And if I cannot make significant changes in 4 years, then of course, even if I stay in Nigeria for 100 years, I will not make changes.
Nigerians, be wise.
This message is supported by Lawyers in Defense of Democracy and the National Youth Leaders Council.
Welcome back. The federal government says it may recall some of its troops from peacekeeping missions abroad to assist in the fight against insurgency in the northeast of Nigeria. This is coming from the coordinator of the National Information Center, Mr. Michael Mary, who briefed journalists in Abuja. He said the government will work with other African countries to establish functional multinational joint task force to combat Boko Haram.
In the face of the various challenges militating against the full operationalization of the multinational joint task force and its apparent collapse, a number of African countries converged in Niamey, Niger Republic, on January 20, 2015, with the sole aim of seeking authorization from the UN Security Council through the African Union to set up, fund, and deploy a more effective multinational force to fight Boko Haram. While it is expected that this meeting will yield positive results, the Nigerian position at the meeting remains that the challenge of Boko Haram insurgency, though a Nigerian challenge, is a threat to regional and international peace and security, which requires the concerted action of Nigeria and friendly countries to combat. There is a need for a troop surge in operational areas, which may require recalling Nigerian troops from peacekeeping missions abroad to enhance the operational capabilities of the Nigerian military.
The managing director of the Bank of Industry, Mr. Rashid Olaoluwa, has promised to help local entrepreneurs acquire technical innovation skills which are needed for the development of the small and medium entrepreneur sector. He said the bank will achieve this through collaboration with government agencies which are focused on producing standard technological machines and devices.
These are locally manufactured tricycles, solar panels, boreholes and grinding machines constructed by officials of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure. This craftsmanship is what officials of the Bank of Industry plan to tap into for owners of small businesses in the country.
As a leading development bank in Nigeria, one of our key strategic objectives is to ensure that we promote an active linkage between the centers of innovation, such as NASENIN and all your affiliate institutes, and industry.
But how can Nigeria assist the agency in achieving its mandate of providing services needed for the nation's technological advancement? The Director General of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure appeals for more patronage of its products.
The response of Nigerians generally to our products, the patronage is not adequate. But I will say for solar products, we are not able to meet the demand of the consumer yet. But generally, the entrepreneur that will come and ensure sufficient products into the market are not coming, are not participating.
The efforts to make Nigerian entrepreneurs innovative did not only stop at the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure. Officials of the Bank of Industry also met with officials of the National Office for Technology Acquisition to seek for areas of collaboration.
We want to, link the centers of innovation, like yourselves, like Naseni, like FIRO, and so on and so forth, to industrialists, to SMEs, so that we can begin to explore the ways in which you can cross that gulf. Otherwise, the ideas will die in the laboratory.
It appears better times await owners of small businesses in the country with this new partnership. Many Nigerians hope to see the agreements reached here put into action.
Produce okra at any level, short ones, long ones.
First Bank.
Welcome to Business News. I'm Anne Nwawadu. The Central Bank of Nigeria has increased the foreign currency trading position for commercial banks to 0.5% from the capital base of 0.1%. That's in a move to shore up interbank dollar liquidity. According to the circular by the Apex Bank, funds sold to commercial lenders will be used for funding letters of credit and other invincible trades, but should not be resold to Bureau de Change dealers. The central bank had reduced dealers' open position from 1% to 0 in a bid to stabilize the currency after it was devalued by 8% against the dollar. That was in November last year. Last week, it allowed banks a 0.1% net position, but warned them against any speculative activity. Just last week, JP Morgan placed Nigeria's bond on a watch list over liquidity issues in foreign exchange market. However, the central bank disagreed, saying the market is very liquid. Meanwhile, the Naira has recovered from record lows hit this week after the central bank increased forex trading limits and sold dollars to commercial lenders. The unit rose 0.45% to close at 188.35 Naira after ending at a record closing low of 189.20 for two previous sessions. Experts believe liquidity conditions have worsened as the Naira has slumped to record lows because dollar inflows from foreign investment and other sources have dried up. The central bank is having to intervene, selling dollars into the market, but that is burning up the foreign reserves. And in the meantime, Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves have continued to drop. And in the last 1 month, the reserves have dropped by $46 million. Latest data from the CBN website shows that the reserve stood at $34.46 billion from $34.92 billion as at December 2014. In the last 1 year, the reserves have dropped by over $8 billion as the CBN has continued to draw down on the reserves to boost the Naira at the foreign exchange market. Meanwhile, 18 months after the establishment of the over-the-counter trading system in Nigeria, only 19 unlisted securities are available on the platform. CEO of NAST, Mr. Bola Ajomale, says with wider areas of the market yet to be explored, the objective of operators this year is to increase investors' participation in that segment of the capital market.
Currently, we are trading 19 equities, but essentially we can trade every single security that is a public security. So anything that is registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission, we can trade on this market. So including commercial paper, bonds, fixed income instruments, as well as equities, as well as any other kind of hybrid instrument. The outlook is growth. First of all, growth in size, growth in transactions, growth in participants in the market. That's the first outlook I would look at, rather than the profitability, rather than indexes. I would look first and foremost at size. Why? I think we're scratching the surface. I think we've only covered maybe 2 or 3% of the market, and I think there's a lot of market that is outside the formal market where it doesn't have any transparency, where there is limited liquidity as well, that we still need to capture and bring in.
The Nigerian equities market closed south at the end of the day's session as key indicators dropped by 0.24%. Bolaji Akinwale has the rest of the day's figures.
Hello, welcome to the Stock Market Report. Equity transactions at the Nigerian stock market continued in a downward slide. The benchmark index dipped 0.24% to close at 29,687.93. Investors show preference for the shares of WAPCO, which added 1 naira to its share price. Coming behind is Flour Mill and Union Daikon with 99 kobo and 57 kobo each. On the losers table, Mobil topped with 7 naira 6 kobo. It was followed by Guinness with 2 naira 98 kobo and Presco with 1 naira 48 kobo. On the top trade chart, Mutual Benefit put the highest volume of shares of 141.5 million units of shares, ahead of FCMB and FBN Holden. In total, more than 410 million shares were traded for 2.4 billion naira in 4,030 deals. And that's it on the Stock Market Report. I am Bolaji Akinwale.
Thank you, Bolaji. Meanwhile, benchmark oil contracts turned negative today after European Central Bank President Mario Draghi announced the bank will begin buying $60 billion in securities a month as part of quantitative easing program. Earlier, Brent crude oil crept above $50 a barrel ahead of the expected ECB's decision. The move could push the dollar to new highs and put downward pressure on commodities. Prior to this announcement, analysts say it is unlikely that more than 2% rally was related to ECB's proposed monetary easing program. The Brent crude futures traded at $48.99 a barrel, down 4 cents from a session peak of $50.45 a barrel. U.S. crude was down 29 cents, U.S. crude was down 29 cents at $47.49 a barrel, having reached a high of $49.09 earlier in the session. Well, that's it on business news tonight. The global market figures, we'll take a look at the global market figures now. The news at 10 continues in just a moment. Please stay with us.
First Bank. Greensprings, a co-educational elementary, primary and secondary school, is 30 years old. And in celebration of this milestone, executives of the school and education practitioners gathered at the Muson Center in Lagos to discuss the future of education in Africa. Our correspondent, Oreoluwa Shonibare, reports.
1985 was a good year for education in Nigeria. It saw the introduction of Greensprings Montessori School. And 30 years later, from a humble beginning with just 3 pupils, the school has grown into a successful educational franchise. And today, the Muson Center in Lagos is the venue where the milestone achievement is being celebrated. The guests, a mix of various schools, educationists, parents, and well-wishers, turn up to make the day memorable. The founder of Greensprings steps up to reiterate the vision of the school.
Our mission is to promote lifelong learning in an open and caring atmosphere that motivates students to be confident and responsible global citizens. And that, in the past 30 years, I believe we have achieved.
The students then display their artistic sides, a strong point of Greensprings.
Yes, we are Africa. We have learned from our mistakes, but don't break from this dust.
In Impressed by the performances, this guest speaker touches on the importance of investing in education.
Nigeria will never develop by accident. It must be, can only be as a result of conscious, deliberate planning, sustained the BOI period, with the outcomes clearly anticipated and improved upon on an ongoing basis.
For those directly affected by the school, they couldn't have wished for a better learning experience.
It teaches you to be a good learner, it teaches you to work with people, it teaches you to love one another, basically.
I've learned a lot from the different kinds of people that go to the school. I've made a lot of friends, and it's just been splendid.
Knowledge is a powerful tool, and the vision behind Greensprings schools can only continue to pass the torch to generations to create the ideal society. Orolu Ashonibare, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10. European champions Real Madrid become world's richest football club for the 10th year running. That's on Sports News. Please stay with us.